Hello, true art believers, and welcome to the number one live stream art. Let me correct that. Art stream in the world. This is your boy here, Pierson. I don't know why I say that. This sounds like some sort of thing you just got to say. I don't know. This is Pierson here, and just another day in paradise. We're ready to start this drawing, get it in action. I got 30 minutes of drawing time. Actually, I'm probably going to cut it short. I always say this, probably about 25 to 30 minutes of drawing action. I'm going to call it a day, and I hope you enjoy the drawing process, and I might have some things to say about it as I'm drawing. All right, today is number 90, actually. So let's begin. Hey everyone, welcome to today's drawing stream, the number one live art stream in the world. This is Pierson here, and he's got, why am I talking in third person? That's what I want to know. And I got, let's find it here. I got a little bit, where is it? It's charcoal. So we're doing another skull drawing, and it's going to be a frontal drawing with a slight tilt to the left. And I am going to be doing, focusing on working solely on what you call like angles. So you're going to see a lot of structure being made this first 20 minutes of the drawing, and I may or may not get to the actual like configuration or configuring of the drawing. So it's going to be a lot of straight up and down work before I even move to the initial drawing itself. The interesting thing about this type of drawing technique, well, it's not interesting. What's interesting about it? Well, you'll see it'll look like a bunch of blocks being made, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, through like the drawing ether, you'll get like the structure just kind of forms out of nowhere, and that's probably true for almost all drawing. Right, that's true for almost all types of drawing styles. There's a phase where the drawing just kind of comes out of the picture, right? And for this instance, actually, it's less so. In other drawing techniques, like the reductive drawing technique that you've seen me do in the past, where I work on my skull and I do a mass out the whole background. And then I pull out the tones with an eraser. That is a better example of form being made out of the drawing or out of the paper, because I'm pulling out the forms. So what I got here is I'm working on some landmarks and trying to get the landmarks angles a little bit, because the skull is at a slight angle, and lately I've been very bad at like placement of my skull, because if I think about this, my skull is kind of like this, and if I've been thinking about it, if I kind of do a little bit of self-reflection, I'm actually looking down, so I need to be showing more of the top of the skull than I've been really accounting for. So that's kind of like my bad. And that's just, I think there's some reasoning behind that. Some of the reasoning behind that is what might be the cause of that is I'll draw half of it in one sitting, and then I'll draw the other half in another sitting, and sometimes my still life will move around where sometimes the ease will shift in and out of the spot that I was drawing, and sometimes I'll start slouching down like when I start drawing, and then that slouching effect will kind of change my vantage point, and that's some of the troubles that we get when we're working in real from life, is that we don't really account for that shift in the way that your body's being placed in the vantage point. Like, so like where your vantage point is changes when you're working from real life, especially if you're doing multiple drawing sessions. So sometimes after doing this type of after I structure all my forms, I'll just kind of go at it. Given the time frame that I have 20 minutes. So given that time frame that I have, I'm going to start structuring the skull, and I'll probably tweak the proportions a little bit. All right. So we're getting to the point where I might start moving in. Like I'm gonna move in with my drawing. We're gonna be roommates. Me and my drawing are gonna be roommates. We're gonna spend time together, and we're gonna hang out. We're gonna watch movies together. That's what me and my drawing are gonna do. We're gonna watch movies together. It's gonna be a fun old time. We're all gonna laugh. Yes, we're gonna laugh. It's gonna be a good old-fashioned drawing time. There we go. Alrighty. So the thing about this type of drawing style is when you're drawing like this and you're seeing seeing the slow process, you're like, I want the thing to be drawn immediately. We're all very impatient, and that's one of the problems with there's this disconnect with the reality of drawing. You know, it is a faster medium, right? You can really produce you can produce your image quickly, you know, but if you want to observe a little bit, you know, and kind of take in the drawing sights, if you were going to be more like metaphorical or about it, right? It's not as immediate of a medium as we would like it to be. And you know, each drawing has its own difficulties and so forth. So right now, I think the difficulty that I'm having is because I'm talking. I'm spending more of my time talking today, and it's affecting the outcome. I'm noticing that I'm not really focusing. I'm not focusing on the drawing. I'm kind of squinting at it, actually, probably too much. That's probably a factor of maybe being a little bit tired. And I always talk about this. It's almost kind of the point of get over yourself. We're all tired, right? So this has been a struggle here. Okay. So we're going to bring this down. I can never seem to get the angle right. I can never seem to get it right. It never works out. Some work a little bit better than others, right? There we go. That's about right. Yeah, so I think I'm going to work on this for like 15 minutes. And then I'm going to call it a day and then come back to it a little bit more tomorrow. Just to kind of, so I'm not constantly working on my drawing, you know, because I've drawn 80 drawings or more in the past 90 days. The first 4 days of 100 days of drawing was me doing work on a commission. I think it was either 3 or 4 days, and then the rest have been me doing nothing but like a new drawing, new still life each time, right? And something's got to give, right? I can never seem to get this. I actually feel like I'm getting worse at this skull drawing game. Like some days I'm like, what is this? Is like I'm like backpedaling. Like I'm not really getting better at it. Certain things are getting more interesting, that's for sure, but I don't feel like I've gotten closer to drawing what this skull, like this particular skull. You know, I don't think I've gotten better at it. To some extent, I've gotten. I don't know what I've gotten. All right, so I'm not really saying anything right now. So just because I'm just working on it, you know, I'm just kind of tweaking it, I'm just working on my skull, right, and just kind of playing around with what I'm trying to see, what I'm seeing here, trying to tweak things out, trying to shift this jawbone lower a little bit, which means I'll probably have to shift this down a little bit more. Get this side right here, get this right here. And then what I do, I never seem to get this side, this curling, this angle correct. It's either I overshoot or undervalue that curve. It never seems right to me. It's always a little bit off. So I'm going to fix this right here. And I feel like this is trimmed. I need to trim that because I keep moving my position. The problem is I'm looking down not at a sharp angle. I'm looking down. I'm looking down on the skull, but in my still life, in my drawing right now, I'm actually looking up. So like I'm looking downward at the skull. But the way I'm positioned right now with my still life, with the way the easel's set up and where I'm positioned with my seat, I'm looking up at it. So like I got these contradictory forces happening. I have to be a little bit more like my eyes have to be kind of centered. And right now I feel like I'm kind of looking up at this, which is causing like a psychological problem. Anyways, that just sounds like an excuse more than anything else. And we're just gonna keep playing around with it. We'll get better and better. I'm only gonna do 2 more, so and then I'm gonna probably have a recurring skull week where I investigate skulls and do the same skull, but maybe do it in a different manner. So maybe next time I'll do like pen and ink or something, or something in my sketchbook, something probably in like a digital medium. Just play around in different mediums. So like right now I'm doing charcoal. Then maybe my next iteration of this will be done in a pencil or a pen, in like a micron pen and like Copic marker or something. Also, every time I'm drawing, every time you see me draw, I'm moving a little bit. So like when I turn my head, my position is not always in the same spot, right? It's not always in the same spot. And because of that, it affects the overall angle of the skull. And sometimes I'm not sitting fully up. Maybe this chair slowly through time decompresses. So like I'm like getting lower and lower as time goes on with this drawing, and so that's affecting my outcome. It's affecting how I view this drawing and where I'm at. And then when I start drawing again tomorrow, I'll be doing I usually typically do like a couple small 10-minute sessions just to finish it up. And each session I'm at a slightly different angle. I'm not always at the same angle, and that changes the outcome of this drawing. That angle is key. If the way where you're positioned in the drawing from what you're viewing changes, what you're seeing is different. So it makes for a entirely different composition, an entirely different drawing, and that affects the outcome. I don't think people think about that, right? Right? We think, easy peasy. You're drawing a skull. You've done it over and over again, but your position changes, and that's the thing about drawing from life that people don't get. Like it's when you're drawing from a photo, half the job is done. It's already transcribed on a flat surface. You're taking a 3-dimensional object and you're translating it to a 2-dimensional surface, and if you don't have the ability to kind of read those forms, it becomes very difficult. So what I've done now is I've softened up my form here, and I'm going to basically do a modified reductive drawing now, because I got kind of the lines already put in there, and I'm going to basically pull out some highlights, and then I'm going to go over it again with like a charcoal pencil or a Conte crayon, and work from there and see where it takes me. Another thing that's going to be different is tomorrow when I draw, it will be daytime. So because it'll be daytime, that's going to affect the value range. right? It's going to change the entire context of the drawing. So that's what's going to happen. So there's that's occurring. Lots of things are occurring in this drawing that we need to account for, that's changing the context. You know? So those are my drawing issues for the day. And I'm sticking to them. Oops. And I'm going to finish this drawing afterwards. Where's my vine charcoal stick? I have like a bunch of like little bitty nubs of vine charcoal that I'm using for my drawing here. Just going to use those to kind of get the teeth in there, kind of lightly sketch it out. Yeah, so you think after doing this multiple times, each skull would be like just significantly better. To some extent, some parts are better, some parts are not. Like I think I've improved on executing some of the teeth. I've been a little bit more ambitious with the application of like thicker lines, which is kind of a nice little break, you know. But there's some things that are kind of going backpedaling. Like I feel like my visual sight, right, my ability to see this skull and to kind of give it a good honest translation, like I'm able to get the proportions correct. I feel like it's kind of either gone stagnant or gone back a little bit. Like maybe it has to do with a few things, maybe a few psychological things are at play here. I don't know. Maybe a few psychological things, like just like energy, patience, sleep, managing energy, and you think that would not be at play here, but there is some truth to that, to be able to kind of work through those issues. And right now I'm trying to work through this energy deficit that I have. You know, I haven't been particularly great at monitoring and maintaining a healthy energy level, and it's really affecting, I don't know about my health, but it's affecting like my ability to kind of make these relationship address these visual differences that I'm not seeing. I'm just not seeing. I'm just not picking up on it. You know, because right now I'm kind of squinting a little bit. I'm a little tired. Been out all day. Not out like last week where I didn't get home till like 3. It was so late. But you know. So like just certain things do affect how you're pursuing these things, you know. And so you just got to work around it. And I'm trying my best to kind of work through some of these issues, you know. So I've been trying to be a little bit stylized, but also try to follow the proportions of the skull and try to be close to it. I'm trying to honor the skull, you know, and try to be respectful of that shape and form. You know, and this one's actually turning out pretty well. I think probably because I kind of slowed down and I corrected that. I'm hoping that this kind of fixes itself through time, at the very least, I can mask that proportional problem with some heavy shadowing. But the problem that's going to happen later on is when I work on this drawing tomorrow, the strong contrast that I have right now is going to go away. All the tones are going to be much more vivid. I'm not going to have this dark cast shadow that I have right now. And I'm not going to take a photo of it. I'm not going to take a photo of it for later as a resource. I'm going to use what I have on hand and just work with it. Now, it can be a good and bad thing, right? The good part is I'll be able to see some of the details that I normally wouldn't see. The bad part is I'm losing some of those that good deep contrast that you're seeing in person. And it's nice to have that good deep contrast for your drawings. Having good contrast in your drawings really helps. It really makes it feel more realistic. You know, I don't think people think it's something that people don't account for. So yeah, so I'm gonna be missing that, and it's like it's not a win-win. It's more like a win. You win some, you lose some. And maybe in the future, this is my goal out of this 100 days of drawing. If I keep doing this, when I keep doing this, not if, because I'm the #1 art streamer in the world, right? So I'm going to say this because it's going to manifest. Because I'm going to keep doing this, there'll probably be a time where I'll be able to do I want to be able to do a full drawing. Like, I want to get to that point where I have time in my life where I can sit down and do a full skull drawing, and I'd probably need about 3 hours. I said 1.5 hours, but I'd say at most 3 hours, at minimum an hour and a half of like drawing time, not 30 minutes, because 30 minutes things are starting to form out. If I had 3 hours, I'd actually spend a little bit more time on the this process that you see here, where I'm establishing form and kind of double checking and cross checking the proportions and such. But because I don't have access to that in my life at the moment, I have to kind of pick my drawing battles, per se, right? I have to pick them, and I choose just kind of finishing a drawing. If the proportions are off, so be it. You can always do another one. I mean, you're doing one a day. If you're doing a drawing a day, you don't need to worry about whether this drawing is going to be the best drawing ever. You just need to worry about producing and getting better, or just being a little bit better in some way. Now, with drawing, or with this type of drawing, and with any drawing actually, it's kind of like, babies. I read in a book, like, babies and toddlers, they'll like learn a new skill, and then they'll completely forget another skill. Like, they'll learn it and then they'll forget it. They'll learn it and they'll forget it. So like with drawing, you'll like learn a new skill, or you'll emphasize a new skill, and then you'll forget how to apply the other skills with it. So like, you might be able to get really good at rendering, but you might lose line quality, or you might lose your ability to mix line quality with your rendering ability, because the heavy line quality doesn't really jive with your current aesthetic. So you're trying to find a way to blend those two styles together. So like with me, as of lately, I've gotten better at like certain things. So like the line quality has gotten really dramatic, and then sometimes I'm really able to capture that contrast tone. And then other times it's like, what? It's like, what's happening here? You just backtracked a couple days, so it's just what it is, and you just got to keep at it. And this is what I've been doing. I've gotten a little bit better in certain areas, and then other areas I kind of go back. So like, what's changed with um, with these last few drawings is I've been using, this is a Conte crown and this is charcoal. So I've been mixing Conte crown with my charcoal, and those they work together. But I'm noticing that if you make an area really dark with Conte crown first, it's hard to go on top of it with like charcoal a little bit. It's kind of waxy. It makes it's a different feel to it. Like it feels different compositionally. Not compositionally, like material wise, it just feels different, you know? Yeah, so it's turning out pretty good. Unfortunately, I got a jet, I got a jet for the day, and maybe I'll work on this a little bit longer. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't know. I wish I could set up live streams where I record the entire drawing process so you can see. No, I wish I had set up time lapses where you could see the beginning, see the drawing being made from beginning to end, and I just don't do that. I only do the first 30 minutes of the drawing in a time lapse, and then I have to kind of just bail. I can't work on it. I can't work on the rest of it in a time lapse just because of time frame. It just doesn't work out. Just doesn't work out to my advantage. I don't do it on purpose. Not like trying to purposely do that. It just kind of happens. So there's this area right here that kind of does this weird shape. I'm gonna emphasize that, or try to kind of make this little curve thing right here. There's a little spot right here. It's a little lighter, but we're gonna kind of shadow this a little bit. I'll leave that like that, and there's a spot right here that kind of makes a little shadow, but really this whole area is kind of really projecting forward with a highlight like that. Not like that, but close to that form, kind of. And then after a while, after drawing, I start my chair might start to kind of shimmy backwards, and that shimmying eventually catches up to me, and pretty soon I'm like slightly farther away from my still life, my skull still life that I set up, which means the angle of this skull is slightly different. And just like tomorrow, I'm going to be drawing on the skull. The position of my seat is going to change, and because I don't particularly know exactly my placement of my feet, it's going to be hard to kind of determine where I'm seated next time I draw. This is an exaggeration. That divot form is not that rounded out, but I've been exaggerating some of the curves on the skull to give it kind of like a more of a grungy look. You know, just for fun. You know, give it a little bit more of an edge. Give it that that Harley Davidson skull action, right? Anyways, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been about 30 minutes. I got to get going. I hope you enjoyed this drawing process. It really looks nice on the screen, like just kind of coming out of the paper there, you know. And that's one of the cool things about charcoal drawing is you can get that cool fade, that fading in and out, that lost and found effect. That's just really hard to do. You can do it at other materials, but like charcoal has a really unique ability to create that kind of interesting fading effect. So anyways, I just want to say thank you so much for watching my live stream. It has been roughly 35 minutes or a little bit less than that. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this as much as possible. I have daily live streams. The times that I had the live streams are variable, so don't forget to hit the notifications bell so you know when I'm about to go live, because I don't have a set time schedule. Not right now. Probably won't have it for the next year or so. I'd love to have a set schedule, but you know what? It is what it is. I hope you enjoyed this drawing session. Don't forget, this is Pierson, the top art streamer in the world. I hope you have a wonderful night. Pierson out.